A dog's life ain't so bad. A thief lurked in the neighborhood. Rubber balls and baby dolls left outside disappeared from the yard. Muddy shoes deposited on the back porch walked away without a trace. As I stepped outside one muggy morning, I caught the culprit in action with his slobbering mouth wrapped around one of my rubber flip-flops. Quickly, I identified the dog as the black, mixed-breed mongrel that lived down the street. Each time I saw him, he slinked with his tail between his legs, never looking directly into my face, as though he had something to hide. Indeed, he often did. Even though I loved dogs, I disliked the way this one sneaked into our yard, furtively grabbed his targeted object, and stole silently away. I did everything I could to discourage him. Each time I saw him approach, I yelled or clapped my hands. Sometimes I even squirted him with a water gun. Nothing worked for long. To my dismay, the dog's owners took no responsibility for his actions, no matter how I complained. After months of this aggravation, my husband Dan finally built a white picket fence around our yard to keep the children in and the dog out. This solved the problem unless someone left one of the gates open by accident. The dog found other houses to pilfer and left us alone. In fact, we didn't see him for quite a long time, and I hardly remembered what he looked like. Though others continued to complain about the obnoxious dog, our yard remained undisturbed, thanks to the fence. One warm fall evening a year or so later, Dan and I sat on the front porch watching the children ride their red tricycles. We had just eaten a fine meal of grilled steak and mashed potatoes. Dan planned to take the leftover steak in his lunch the next day. Suddenly, a stranger came to our gate and asked us if we had noticed a black, medium-sized dog in the neighborhood. The woman tearfully described how the dog had run away the week before and she had been unable to find it. She gave us her name and phone number and begged us to call if we spotted a dog matching that description. Dan and I assured her that we would keep an eye out for the dog. Later, as I picked up toys in the front yard, I spotted an unfamiliar dog sniffing the fence. Bedraggled and covered in mud, the black dog shied away when I tried to approach it. This might be the missing dog, I thought. I sprinted into the house and grabbed the leftover steak from the refrigerator. Then I rushed outside the fence and waved it at the dog. It refused to approach until it finally smelled the steak. Then it tentatively grabbed the meat from my hand and began to hungrily devour it. "Dan!" I yelled through the screen door. "I think I found the dog that woman was looking for. Call her and tell her to come and take a look. I'll try to keep him in our yard until she arrives." As Dan came out to investigate, I plopped down on the ground beside the animal and timidly stroked its back as it chewed on the steak. I wanted the poor dog to feel safe and secure. Dan joined me and saw the dog feasting on the meat. "Oh, Dan, this pitiful animal is just starving to death. Look how fast he's eating this steak. Good golly, are you giving my leftover steak to that dog?" "Yes, I am. It's hungry and lost, and I feel sorry for it." "You feel sorry for it? Do you need glasses? Don't you recognize that dog? That's the one that lives down the street that steals things from our yard. I thought we had rid ourselves of him once and for all. Now that you've fed him and petted him, he'll probably make this his permanent home." Hastily, I stood up and took a closer look at the animal contentedly lying on the grass as he chewed up the last of the ribeye. I couldn't believe my eyes. This was no lost dog. This was the thieving mongrel from down the street disguised under a coat of mud. Although he certainly didn't deserve it, I had just rewarded him with a steak dinner and a back rub. A dog's life ain't so bad after all.